Hey everyone, thanks for having me today. Thanks for the invitation to Draper University. And I love the diversity already, all the dance moves, all the excitement. It's just amazing to be here and talking with you about product design. Little bit introduction about myself. My name is Riza Saydam, and I'm a product designer at Facebook. And today I will be talking about a framework to build successful products with 3 simple steps: understand, identify, execute. So we will go deeper in that, but before, let me talk a little bit about what I do and how things works. Let's see. Cool. So as I told you earlier, I am a product designer at Facebook, and often people associate Facebook with just Facebook app, but it's actually a family of products. So under the Facebook Inc. umbrella, there's WhatsApp, there's Instagram, there's Oculus, and my focus area is Messenger. And since 4 years ago, I've been working on Messenger product from very early days of Messenger, where it was only 400 million people using the product, and today there's almost 1.3 billion people using Messenger. So during this journey, I worked on Messenger growth team, adding additional 1 billion people to product and having people using Messenger, finding value from it every single day. And then I transitioned into Messenger Lite product. And it's a fast and really lightweight app to empower people who are living in the third-party countries, people who don't have smartphones that are really fast and reliable internet connections. So we built a simpler version of Messenger to help people be connected even though they don't have the chances that we have in the United States. And now I am focusing on Messenger business and monetizing the product. It's a product area helping people and businesses to have meaningful conversations and having outcomes using Messenger. From looking outside before I joined Facebook, I was thinking, how come this massive organization is keep building successful products? And I wanted to understand, like, what is the secret behind this? And when I joined, I was looking at this like massive open space, and I was looking at the tools we use, and I was like trying to find clues, like what is the thing that makes them different? What is the secret sauce to build a successful products? And I was looking around, finding all those expensive chairs, maybe all those like special programs we use, or even the perks that they provide, like free lunches and everything. But honestly, that's not it. That's not like how you build successful product. And it took me a while to understand the reason, understand the secret behind this. And one day after working really hard, I decided to take a walk in the campus. And obviously, one thing you will notice when you visit Facebook campus, the posters that you see on the walls and how unique they are. And honestly, that's like one of the big clues that I was able to find to reason and the foundation of how Facebook is continuously building successful products. And these posters are designed by employees, designed by special artists that comes and visit the office to have a communication between employees and build a foundational culture for the company. Some of those posters you will see highlighting inspirational quotes. It says, for example, even the busy bees stop and smell the roses. It's reminding us to stop and have fun time to time and understand the value of life. And some others are communicating the values of the company. So for example, one of them is be bold, be open, move fast, and focus on impact. And if you think about it, those are the entrepreneurship cultural elements that Facebook is putting into their walls and communicating with their employees. So today I kind of want to start with talking about a few of those posters, which I believe the foundation for the design as well, and then we'll establish the talk of today. So the first one is hacker. Hacker is obviously a noun, and what we would like to see hacker as an individual is like either of ours can be hackers. And the definition of hacker for us is someone who is solving almost impossible problems with a unique approach, with questioning everything, with thinking things differently, just playing things around and trying to solve that almost impossible problem. And as Facebook, we would like to call ourselves the hacker company. So you will see in the campus, in the middle of the campus, there is a big sign called like the hacker company, because we all want everyone in the company to be hackers, who are questioning things, who are trying to solve solutions in an unintuitive way. And second poster I want to highlight today is 2G Tuesday Day. So at Facebook, obviously, we have one of the best internet speed in the Bay Area and in the world. It's expected, right? If you are working at Facebook campus, you would expect a high-speed internet connection. But what we do in daily basis at Facebook, we are designing products for billions of people, right? But not everyone has that conditions, don't have access to fast internet. So what we do as Facebook, on Tuesday, we lower the internet to 2G by default. So you would experience how in a developed country, people who don't have the same conditions would experience the internet connection. So it's like baked into our decisions when we build those products. So we would experience the slow internet, and then it's like baked into our decisions. We take care of the slow conditions, we worked on the loading states, and it's all baked in. And the main purpose of this poster is highlighting empathy. And that's one of the second foundation for the design process. And the third poster I want to highlight is understand, identify, execute. And this is such a 3 words, but it's like so important because that's what we do every day. This is our design process, this is our product building process, and this helps us always have successful outcomes. Grab a water real quick. So I want to explain this poster with a small example at the beginning. Then I will go in depth and talk about each of every single step. So let's go to thousands of years ago and Stone Age, because I believe some of the problems we face today are still the same, and we have lots to learn from even Stone Age. Let me introduce you Adam and Eve, and they just had a kid. And Eve is asking Adam to, we are hungry, get some fish for us so we would have something to eat tonight, right? And Adam now has a task. He needs to figure out a way to, catch a fish. And that's what he is up to. He's thinking, okay, where can I find fish? What do I need to do? And he's remembering when he was a kid, he used to go to a puddle where he would play with the water a little bit. And now he has a plan. Okay, I'm going to get my fishing rods. I will go to that puddle and we'll try to catch a fish. And that's his plan. Perfect, right? And at the end, he's expecting an outcome. But what is missing is he forgot to bring bait with him. And without a bait, you won't be able to catch a fish. So what happened here is like so subtle. Remember the poster we have, understand, identify, execute. Adam actually made a mistake on the execution phase. He had a plan, but he didn't, apply the plan perfectly, so he won't be able to catch a fish because he didn't perfectly execute. So let's say Adam, learned this mistake, now doing the task again. He brought the baits, now he is, trying to wait for a fish. But there is no fish in this puddle, right? How come there could be a fish in this like small water? And what happened here is, let's remember like how Adam actually decided to go to here. He thought like, I used to go to that puddle to play, and then I should go there to catch a fish. Is that a logical argument? Not really, right? He didn't put enough time to understand, and like he didn't put enough time to identify where the best opportunity is. Obviously, puddle is not the best opportunity for him, and he made the mistake on the second phase of the project, identifying the best opportunity. And let's say someone whispered in his ears and like told him, okay, there is no fish here, Adam, like go to a stream. And he learned that, and now he is in the stream. And as you can see, there are like fishes all around, and he will be able to catch some, right? And now he identified the best opportunity, he brought the bait, he's executing perfectly, happy ending, right? He will be able to feed his family tonight. But wait a minute, look at the behind the scenes, there are deers. And what happened here is when Eve asked Adam, hey, get some fish for us, what she meant, she was like, we are hungry. Figure out the best way to feed us. Not necessarily fish. Adam didn't really question the task. He was like, okay, I'm going to get fish. And that was actually foundational mistake. So if Adam, would figure out what is the best way for my family to be fed for a longer time of period, he would have, identified the deers behind the scene. And maybe, they would be fed for multiple weeks because of all the meat that would come. And maybe from the bones, they would make like some tools. And that would have been the better, time of Adam to invest in a longer term. So what happened here is, even though Adam identified the best opportunity and executed perfectly, he didn't really understand the question, right? And therefore, he actually approached in a different way. Even though he was successful, maybe that's not his potential. He could have been hunting deers for his village even. So Adam made a foundational error on understand phase. So that's pretty much a summary. So what I'm going to do is, we will move thousands of years to a digital world, and we will figure out how this applies today in our products. And often, product designers at Facebook is not about pixels. So I didn't want to, come here today and show you folks in 3 steps how to draw a horse, or how to design pixels, or how to choose colors. I think since you folks are entrepreneurs, it makes more sense to, talk through about the entire product process in the eyes of Facebook and product design. So let's go step by step. Understand. So what we want to understand is our purpose. So considering Adam and Eve, what was their purpose? Not catching fish, right? That's not the purpose. Purpose is survival. Purpose is not staying hungry. And it is really important to understand your goal, not being hungry. This is not necessarily catching the fish. Those are not mapping one-to-one. Often when I ask people, hey, what is your goal? They usually answer me with one of those. They talk about, oh, I am trying to increase page views of my app, or trying to increase the engagement, or I want to improve the time span, get more followers. And those are not your goals. And there are helpful metrics that keep you honest, help you measure your progress, but those are not your goals. Your goal is, when you question them, what is behind what is the why behind those metrics? And often you won't be able to find that with one single question. You need to go multiple levels deeper. So if you ask Adam hey, why you are catching 5 fish, and he would answer, I want to feed my family. Why? Because I want to survive. And therefore you would get into the behind the reason for why this reason of certain tasks. And best way to do this is stating your mission. Without mission, you are aimlessly actually doing some things that are not connected to a good reason. And I think it is easier always to understand those concepts with examples. So let's look at Airbnb. We all are familiar with Airbnb. We know it's bed and breakfast. You can book some houses and experience with locals. But behind the scenes, the reason why Airbnb is providing that service is, and you would get this statement when you question why they are doing that, is help creating a world where you can belong anywhere. It's very bold statement, right? It's highlights probably belonging. So it's helping you belong anywhere in the world. That's the foundationally what people who work at Airbnb waking up every day, going to work, they want to help to that mission, not necessarily build a website or increase metrics, right? And if you look at that, that's resonating obviously in the product they built. They built Airbnb.com, right? Bed and breakfast. But recently, they've been questioning that as well. They've been asking, what if we beyond? What if we went beyond and create a service that is connected to our mission, but doing even further? And that's how they will be able to, find a new product market fit with Airbnb experiences, where you would book, an experience with a local. They would show you around. They will, show you how to cook or give you a unique perspective of their local community. And if you look at this from bed and breakfast to Airbnb experience, they are really connected to their mission, right? You would expect that people who has that mission to provide these two services. So they are perfectly able to figure out this new opportunity by staying true to their mission. So the second example I want to give, obviously from Facebook, and Facebook mission is give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And some of the keyword highlights here, community. So they are trying to build a community. And second highlight is bringing the world closer together. And I think we all are familiar all the products that Facebook is providing today. So obviously Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, helping us with that, getting us closer to that mission statement, bringing people closer together. But wait a minute, we actually do more than that. And if you think about a little bit foundationally, a little bit stepping back, you will see how they are connected, right? It's the reason why a mobile app company is also investing in a hardware, because this hardware, Oculus, helping you, stay connected with your friends even though they are farther away. And let's go beyond. How come this mission is enabling this as well, right? You wouldn't expect a mobile company to build, airplanes, but if you think about the mission and helping people stay connected, then it makes sense to invest in internet.org and, give people an access to the internet, because that's one way to, help people stay connected and be closer together. So this is only possible if you always are thinking your mission and understanding what you do is how it is related to your next action. And those are good examples. Let's look at from the negative perspective. Let's examine someone who actually missed this opportunity, right? So I want to quickly talk about the Tudor Ice Company and their founder, Frederick Tudor, and he has a nickname, Ice King. I don't know how many people there are like with the nickname with King, right? He was like that successful, so people called him Ice King. And he lived like 100 years ago. What he was doing is, Chicago is really cold. From the winter, he was harvesting all the ice from Chicago, and he built up a transportation system and selling ice of Chicago to Hong Kong, to India. Imagine like how much money he was making. He was one of the richest people in the world, and what he was thinking is he was in the business of transportation. And he was believing in if he transport the ice faster and more efficiently, he would continue being the top of his business. And do we know this guy today? No one remembers him, right? And what happened is refrigerator, right? He disappeared suddenly because he didn't understand the business he was in. He was thinking, I am in a transportation business and I want to do this more efficiently, and he kept making incremental steps to improve his business. But behind the scenes, he was selling cold, right? He was helping hospitals to have ice and providing local business with the ability to make ice creams and keeping the vegetables cold. He was in a different business, not transportation. And he didn't invest the aspect of technology side of the things and didn't question what he was doing. And he suddenly failed, and we don't remember him anymore. And this is like one quick example how if you don't stay focused to your mission, and like one day you won't be able to survive. And you need to understand why behind the things you are doing. So how do you get into your mission? I know you all have like great ideas. I think what you can do today is like articulating your value proposition and the problem you are solving for people. So in the Tudor company, they were not solving transportation problem for people, right? The problem they were solving, how do we give them access to cold so they would keep their vegetables cold and leverage in their life. And therefore, when you identify your mission, what you can do next is setting mission-driven goals. And obviously, these goals will be metrics that are specific, achievable, and measurable. So I know this is a little bit abstract, and we'll give you an example quickly. But before we go in there, it is also important to make sure we measure what we do. And we are not, just like executing without aim. So you can be quickly in a position where you are going back and forth, but you are not making a progress. Maybe you are in a toy, playing with the toy, but what is important is making progress and continually making progress towards your mission. So we need to measure our progress, and let's examine a to-do list app quickly because it's more realistic to understand this concept and will give you probably an insight how you can leverage the similarities in your own startup. So I want to start with the second bullet, a cloud-based collaborative task management app, right? We often have ideas like this. What if I make something that does blah, blah, blah? And let's question why they do that one, and therefore we will be actually identify the first bullet. So what they are up to actually is helping people efficiently get things done together, right? That's more human. That's like would motivate your team. Not necessarily like cloud-based collaborative task management. Like no one will be actually excited about this one foundationally. When you talk to your mom, she won't get that. But if you explain in a way that, I am helping you get things done more efficiently, that's like a nice marketing line as well. So from that mission statement, we will actually be able to attract the task as well. So what is the mission statement? Efficiently getting things done. Therefore, you are building a task management tool, right? And there's another line over there, doing it together. It's not about individuality. What is the highlight is doing things together. So therefore, it makes sense this task management app to be collaborative, right? It's all coming from the mission. And what is the key action in this tool? It's not like creating a task, right? It is creating and sharing a task because it's in your mission. If it is not collaborative, then this task is actually not helping you with that mission. And we have a really complex metric. I will just pause a little bit so you would read. It's really complex, right? We are asking like, how did they even come up with this? It's like really funny looking. It is percentage of users who share a task 3+ times a day per week. So let's actually go deeper a little bit because often people, have good intentions, but they don't know how to measure. I know you all are familiar with hard metrics. You know what retention is, churn is, and all those things, growth means. But let's actually go deeper in this key metric a little bit. Remember what was our mission? Collaborate and getting things done, collaboration, right? Therefore, our key behavior is sharing a task. It is not creating. We expect all the shared tasks to be created, right? It's much deeper metric. And that's what this app is about. So you first define that key action in your app. Maybe it's the purchasing, maybe it's like a booking, maybe it's like a specific action like this. Then let's imagine we created this app, someone comes in, creates one task and shares with it and leaves. Is this a good behavior? Not, right? It's not good enough for healthy users. So what we need is a definition of what a good user looks like. What is someone who would get benefit from this app is looking like, right? And in this case, it is 3 times. So you should be, using this app, at least like creating 3 times a task and sharing with it, then you become a good user. But wait a minute, if I, create a task today, and second one a month later, and the third one a year later, am I a good user still? No, right? It's like I just left the app, come back later on. I'm not using constantly. It's not valuable for me yet. So we need to time cap this one. So 3 times a day. That's what healthy user looks like. And let's imagine I am using this for work. Monday to Friday, I am like keep creating tasks. I am a healthy user. Friday, I am like, taking time off. And when we look at our dashboard, the metrics are, good, 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 good. Friday afternoon is down, Saturday, and it goes up. And when you look at this metric, it's not really looking, gradually increasing or gradually going down. It's like some funny movements in between. So we need to make this comparable. And we need to find a norm, find a, cycle in this metric that we would keep the metric flat. Or if it is going up, it's because of we did a good job. If it's going down, it's like we did a bad job. But it is going down fundamentally every day, then we are not really able to compare. So we add one more thing, per week. So we will compare this metric every week to a week before. And that's how we will measure our success, right? And let's say this app has been running for a while. And obviously, if we keep the metric just simple as this, every day this metric will increase, right? First day, there will be 5 people sharing a task. Second day, there will be 10. Third day, there will be 15. But we are not growing. It's not actually going faster up, right? Each day, it's what we call is, a fake metric in a way. And that's why we need to normalize this metric. And that's how we add a ratio or a percentage. So our metric is always honest to us. So just to summarize, I think this is foundationally important. Once you figure out your mission, and when you figure out like what you want to focus on, now you need to measure your progress. And if we don't do a good job here, if we just stick to what's being told to us, we won't be able to get this right. So the good metric is defined by clear and specific goals, and it needs to be a desired user action. So in this case, it was sharing a task. We identified that action, and then it needs to be a normalized. Otherwise, it will be a vanity metric, right? It would go up and up every day. It's like similar to how you see in app stores, this app has been downloaded 3 billion times, but no one is using it, right? Because it's been downloaded and it's a vanity metric. It doesn't mean anything. What is important is percentage of users or average users who are still engaged with the app. So we need to normalize it. So it's an honest metric. And we need to compare this. We need to have a capture time frame, maybe a day. Then it needs to be comparable, so per week or per month. So we would keep checking that metric in the time scale, see our progress. And lastly, it needs to be actionable. It's not a vanity metric, right? When you look at this metric, if this is going up, we are doing a good job. If this is going down, we are doing a bad job. But if there is something else that can affect, then it's not a good metric. So imagine you remove the percentage of users. If someone makes a marketing effort, put lots of money into advertisement, obviously without the percentage pies, share a task in 3 times a day will go up with marketing effort, right? But once you add the percentage, it won't, because it's the percentage, it's the quality of the app. So therefore, our metric is actionable and showing true progress of our team. And this was kind of a little bit on the easy side, a to-do list app, right? We all probably can figure out how to find a good metric for a to-do list app. Let's go to something a little bit more advanced, Facebook Newsfeed. And mission of Facebook Newsfeed, help you have meaningful social interactions with people you care about. It's a really bold statement, right? And let's examine how they were able to actually identify this. So we all are familiar with Facebook. It's like a homepages newsfeed that you scroll through all the posts that you have from your friends or people you follow or businesses. And Facebook did a research around well-being, and what they were identifying is if you are using Facebook passively, which means like opening the Facebook multiple times in a day, scrolling through, not interacting with anything, that's not good for you. It's bad. You are feeling isolated. You are not interacting with anyone. We don't really want this behavior. But meanwhile, if you use Facebook to open it daily, interact with your friends, have meaningful conversations, have arguments about things you care about, catch up with your friends, then it is good for you. There's a line in between. We don't want the other one. We want to have more people finding value and feeling well using Facebook. So therefore, what we came up with is ranking system, right? So each post you see, behind the scenes, they are ranked. And they are ranked using all the actions you take. So if you like a post from previously or comment or share, that bakes into the ranking system. But let's go deeper. Is all those actions are equal? So when you like something versus when you put some thought into a comment, they are not equal, right? So overall, we prioritize the social interactions, but often they might not be meaningful. You might be liking your friends, your post with a habit, like liking everything. It doesn't really associate with the good social interaction that we were hoping for. So what we do, if you take time and put a thoughtful comment to your friend's post, have a conversation, have a debate, and that actually bakes into algorithm even more strongly, and your feed ranking evolves based on that one. So comparing all the actions you can take, like, comment, and share, the most important is commenting. And most important is actually seeing that post and sending a message to that person. It's much more deeper. That's what we believe is the meaningful of the interactions, right? And let's go deeper on that one. Obviously, if you just stop in that point, meaningful social interactions, some businesses, some third parties usually tries to, hack you. And in this case, you see 3 businesses, one of them is asking you, oh, find true love, take 5, click like this post, we will let you know, or tag 5 of your friends, so you would, I don't know, some similar tactics. And those are obviously not good, meaningful social interactions for you, right? Even though you are commenting because the business is telling you so, this is not really mapping into the meaningful part that we were aiming for. So that's why we added the third line, with people you care about. And people you care about is not businesses, obviously. So we filtered everyone out. So what this means is, when you see a post, they are usually ranked. And if one of your friends posts, even though it's a lower ranked, we boost it even further. And we put it at the top, above the businesses, above the people you don't know. Your friends are the people you care about. So therefore, it's baked into the algorithm. And as you can see, from 0.5, it got into the point of 2.1, just being your friends, because that's someone you care about. And therefore, all those decisions are connected to the mission. We are not trying to increase the time spans of the Facebook. We want to increase the meaningful social interactions of the people. And kind of going back to the mission, it seems like it's just a word, right? But this is actually the metric that team is tracking as well. The newsfeed team is not gold on time spans. They are not gold on social interactions. They are gold on very specific metric. Meaningful social interactions only from the people you care about, not from the businesses. And if you go ask that team, they are not going to get their bonuses if you don't hit that metric. They don't really care about the other details. And the summary of this one, we looked at 2 different business models, right? One is a simple to-do list. Another one is a big company, Facebook. And they were not using the same metric, if you notice. It was very unique. It was not matching one-to-one. And it's similar. You all are doing new projects, new entrepreneurs, and you are doing something unique. And therefore, the metric you are tracking should be unique as your business. If you are tracking the same metric, then you are probably not doing the right thing for your company. So I will do something interesting. We'll give you folks homework if you would like to take. So what I'm asking in general is just a summary of like how you can apply the understand phase into your project today. And you can just use it during the hackathon you are about to do this weekend. It's the understand phase. So just consider the project you are working on and question whether you know what's your team's core purpose. It's not the task that you are executing. It's just the questions like why you are doing that task, why you are waking up from your bed in the morning, what is keeping you motivated, right? And therefore, you will be able to understand what is the goal for your project. And you will be able to explain why it matters, right? Very simple. And then the next phase, how do you measure your progress? Are you, swimming against a current? Doesn't mean you are making progress. Like you need to be faster than the current so you end up where you want to be. So how do you measure your progress is the next question. And it is really important. This is not just about you. It's a team effort, right? You all need to know like the purpose behind your actions. And therefore, as a combination of your individualities, you make progress. So sync with your teammates. Do they write the same things? Are you on the same page? If not, feels like there is a hard conversation you need to have, right? You all need to be on the same page here. So the bulk of the presentation was about the understand phase. We'll go faster. Should we do right after, if that's okay? We'll come back. And we will go a little bit faster on the identify and execution phases. So identify, we understood, our purpose, we know how to measure, we know our task. Now it's time to identify. And what are we identifying is the best opportunities. It is really easy to say, like, understand best opportunities, but I am talking about the best, right? I am not talking about any opportunity. There is such a thing as a bad idea. It's okay to, come up with bad ideas in the brainstorm, but when you execute, there is such a thing as a bad idea. So what is important is just don't work on random stuff and say no multiple times. This is really important. If you are working on, first thing that comes into your idea, then you didn't really put enough thought into figuring out the best opportunity. Ideally, you would, come up with many ideas, and you would wait until you have many ideas. You wouldn't just jump into the first idea you have. You would say no to a few of them. You would figure out which one is the most important and just work on that one, right? We all have like limited time in this life. Don't spend your time on working on random stuff. That's like very obvious. And the question is, how do we identify the best opportunities? It's a really hard question. And some tactics, learn what worked well in the past. We have a great history, lots of examples around us. Just understand like why they worked and which problem they were solving, right? Can I repeat that and become still successful? Is there any more opportunities, like maybe I incrementally change something and make it more successful? So what worked well is a good inspiration for us all the time. Similarly, what failed? Why it failed? Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe I fix it and make it successful. And if you have that knowledge, maybe you don't repeat the same mistakes. So those are two clear ways of what worked well and what failed as an inspiration for you to what to do next. And if you don't have this context, you are going to repeat the same mistake. Or maybe they already solved that problem for you. And second one is often we would have problems that are really ambiguous. You don't really know where to start. You want to change the world, but the world is so big, and what is the easiest thing to do is just break down the problem. So don't, solve the problem for everyone. Maybe try to solve the problem for teachers. Maybe try to solve for nurses, right? Maybe there is a specific opportunity for that group of people. Maybe just focus on teenagers rather than everyone. And over time, you would be able to scale that. So, and the third one is, like, this is really important for the design, the empathy part as well. Rigorously define people problem. So a consumer, a people, is not waking up in their beds thinking like, how can I help this random person startup to make money? So imagine like you have a goal, you are saying like, I want to increase time spent in my app. And no one is waking up in the morning, how can I, figure out who is needing more time spent so I would, use their app? That's not what people think, right? They are thinking, okay, I have this problem, who is out there solving my problem in a best, more efficient way? So if you would focus on people's problem, you would, have more empathy and solve that problem. No one is trying to give you engagement. That's not what people think. So therefore, your goal is not engagement. Your goal is solving their problem. And obviously, you would be asking, okay, what is the people problem I am solving? Go out there, leverage research. And you can figure out like who is the right group of people that, that I can ask questions. So often in the startups, like, they would have this like, go to Starbucks, ask random people random questions. Don't do that. So you need to figure out like who is my customers, figure out where they are, and then go ask the key questions to them. So it means maybe traveling world and figuring out like where they live, visiting their houses, or inviting them to your office and having a conversation with them. But it needs to be the people that's supposed to be using your app, right? And I think one detail here, I see often people just do research about their own products. What is like a tip from me is check like who is your biggest competitor is, maybe take that app into research as well. Like, why are they good? And what are the areas that they are lacking? So maybe that's an opportunity for you to fill in and have a new product market fit. So a small example from Messenger. So as Messenger, our mission is help people instantly communicate with your friends. Our mission is not being a messaging app. That's not a mission. That's like what we do. But our mission is helping people instantly communicate with their friends. And the keywords here is obviously communication, your friends, and what is often is hidden is instantly. We want this app to be instant. And it's one of the key differentiators from other things like email. You don't expect email to be instant, right? You would send it out, async, and you would answer it one day. But we want messaging to be instant, and it's baked into our mission. And I will focus on this one a little bit. So based on that single word, we have a team focusing on increasing the percentage of monthly active people with push token. It's like kind of touching all the key metric definitions we have. So this team is focusing on this ambiguous problem. And when you look at this problem, it is really like, you don't know where to start. You can do anything, and it's such a big problem. So what we do usually in these situations like this, we go a little bit deeper. And we try to identify what are the things that are people problem that help us, achieve that goal. And obviously, when you look at a big ambiguous space, you would often figure out like multiple people problem you can solve. And clearly, we just talk about identifying the best opportunities. So we tried and we wait until finding multiple problems. We try to identify, okay, how many problems there are. We figure out top 10, and we try to size them. So which one is the highest opportunity? And then you will be able to identify the best opportunity. And it's obviously this one, right? Once you figure this list out, you wouldn't work on that small one. You would try to go to the big one. That's where the biggest opportunity is. And big opportunity often requires bigger challenge. So in this case, like usually when someone asks you, oh, let's increase the push token, percentage, you would try to do tactics like, hey, give us push notification. You would have promotions in the app. That's like, what your brain is, taking you if you just focus on your metrics. But if you shift your focus and think about people problem, then you will be able to actually identify bigger opportunities. So in this case, we went to a home in Philippines, and what we observed is there was this family, and you can see in the middle, that using Messenger every single day. And what we noticed, time to time, one of those people were being offline for multiple days. We were losing their push token. And that's how we identified this couple and went to them. And the way they were using Messenger, they actually didn't have two phones. They were not living in US. They didn't have enough money to buy two phones, one per each. They were sharing a phone. And what would happen is the mother, would use the phone during the day. Husband would work. And while husband would work, mother was online. And she was, logged into Messenger. Husband comes back to home, wants to check his messages. She logs off, gives the phone to husband, and meanwhile, she wouldn't be able to catch up with her friends. She wouldn't know if someone messaged her. And she would stay offline for multiple hours. And the people problem we identified, I can get new message notifications from friends when my husband is using my phone. Very human, right? And so directly related to our goal. We want to help this person. Therefore, our metric also increased. Therefore, we would make progress towards our mission. So what we did, we introduced a feature. We introduced a switch account feature where you would, add your family accounts, and it will be secure. So we wouldn't show you who the sender is. We would just show you how many messages you have in the other account. And therefore, if there is a new message, husband would tell the wife, hey, you have a message in your account, here's the phone. And therefore, we would make progress with our metric and our mission. And just like reminding the goal, from this goal, we wouldn't be able to figure out this solution without research, without understanding the people problem. It's well related. And staying connected to your mission is equally important. Now we have a mission and we want to, keep the mission the same and keep coming with good projects, right? And I won't talk about the process this time. Quickly want to show you the next project we came up with in the same team. And it was Active Now project. So maybe today you all are familiar with this green dot you have. That wasn't a thing 3 years ago until Messenger introduced that green dot. And the way we identified, we questioned how do we help people instantly communicate, and the answer was obvious. Indicate some way the other person is online, right? And we came up with this green dot concept to have an indication for Active Now. And it made us progress towards our mission in the same way with the other project. So summarizing the identify section, second homework, we are using the same project, right? And what we want to ask first, have we looked at everything we have learned? Maybe it's from the other startups who did the same thing. We want to understand what worked, what failed, who did the same thing in the past, so we can learn something from it, not to have the same mistakes. And it is really important to break down the problem into smaller pieces. So is your target audience everyone? There is no such a thing as everyone. Like maybe it's a group of people, maybe more subtle. Do you want to solve the entire problem? Maybe try to solve a little bit first. Make progress in solving. So break down the problem. And the kind of trick question, which pieces did you choose not to tackle? And often the answer is nothing, right? We are tackling with everything. That's a mistake. We should be spending enough time to identify multiple opportunities, and we should have the courage to say no to some of them, so we would work on the most important one. And that's how we would have the biggest impact, right? And lastly, I know we all have goals, maybe make revenue, have this time span, but we talk about it. Those are not how people think about your product. Those are not their problem. Those are our problems, and they are trying to solve their problems. So frame it differently. Frame from people perspective, and just write that down as well. What's the people problem you are solving? So kind of getting closer to the end. This will be a little bit faster. Now we have a really good understanding of what we do, why we do, which problem we are solving. We took the time, we understood what we want to do. We have the best plan ever, focusing on the most important things. Now we need to execute, right? But the challenge is we need to execute it perfectly. There is no other way. Because if you don't execute it perfectly, like imagine Adam, he had the plan, he forgot the bait, he didn't execute perfectly, then you won't be able to understand whether it was the execution, whether it was the plan, you won't be able to get the learning unless you execute it perfectly. And if you do, maybe you will fail, will learn, maybe you will succeed, and it's only possible. Even failing is only good when you execute it perfectly. And I want to kind of give an example here. You all probably landed into San Francisco airport, and your goal was to come to a Draper University, right? And you've been talking about this for a while, and you all are motivated. You are a team. There's multiple people in the car. You are talking, okay, we will land in, we will rent a car, go to a Draper University as soon as possible. And you are also thinking, since we have a little bit of time, we heard about this cool Facebook campus, maybe on the way we would visit there as well. But it's only we have the time. And so far you are planning, you have a little bit of time. But you land in, the maps, you usually does that thing. Oh, there's a traffic on that route. If you go this other route, you will arrive Draper University 10 minutes earlier. It's a good news, right? It's your goal. You want to come to Draper University. You're like, hooray, I'm going a little bit faster, man. But you look at your, passenger seat, your teammates start to, look sad. And you're asking hey, what happened? Isn't our goal is going to Draper University? Aren't you happy? He's like, oh, actually, I kind of wanted to go to Facebook more, and that's why I came. And then you will notice you are not on the same page. There is a crossroads. And it's really important that you, as a team, you all want to go to Draper University, not spend time on the way. Your goal should be clear, and you all should be equally excited with the destination, not things on the way. And what this means, like, you should have a common goal, and your team should be excited and rallied around that common goal. And I kind of want to simplify this one with like 4 bullet items, because often perfect execution is not just individuals, it's a team effort, right? And if your team has a process that they can question, they can understand the decisions behind why we are doing things in a certain way, then they will start to have a better communication around like, okay, I want to do this because of this reason, it aligns to our process, and it will start to build up the trust and relationship between team members, and will result in a better product, and therefore your team will be successful. And often, if you are not aligned on a common goal, you will question whether your team is making the right decisions with the right motivation, right? If you agree everyone here is trying to go to Draper University as soon as possible, you will trust your teammate when they told you, oh, take that exit. You would trust them, right? Because it's the same goal. But if she or he has like a different goal, which is like going to a Facebook campus a little bit, then you will start to question whether he is making the right decisions, taking you out of the road, and causing your team to build a bad product, right? So therefore, like, these steps are really important. Establishing a process, communicating, building a trust, and therefore building a better product. And the last homework, we are coming to a conclusion. Let's use the same project again. And what is challenging this time? What are the top 3 priorities? Very simple question, right? Everyone should know about this for your project. What is tricky thing about this one? I am not asking your 3 priorities. This is not an individual question. This is top 3 priorities for the team. Let's say there is like 5 people working on a product, maybe working on 50 tasks in combination. I am asking what's the top 3 of them. And this could be another team member's project. It doesn't have to be your task. And you should trust your teammates to execute that perfectly and prioritize accordingly. And often what is the, how I identify conflicts often is the last item. Did everyone in your team answer these exactly same, including the same order? Even if the order is mistaken, then they are going to make different decisions that would cause conflict, that will be async between team members. So if entire team members were able to write the top 3 priorities in the same order for the entire team, then you are well aligned and going to do what you are up to really well. So just to summarize, like, we just focused on one poster, but it's so deeply associated with how to build successful products. And I feel like hopefully this was helpful for you as entrepreneurs to build the new products as well. And very simple summary, we spent time to understand our purpose, our goal, figured out our mission, right? And focused on people problems. And then second phase, once we understand that, it's time to identify, right? We identify only the best opportunities. We didn't focus on everything. We picked one, which is the best one, and then we break down the problem, and now we have a plan. What we need to do is executing it perfectly and staying true to that, our plan. And this is only possible with a better process, better communication. It's a team effort, not individual effort. And kind of going back to the hacker poster as well, the overall, like, you would figure out same process or similar process if you are questioning everything always. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.